illicit finance and technology to Russia, Iran, and North Korea. So as China goes out and backs this entire axis of American adversaries as it pursues its own campaign to undermine and displace the United States. I mean, they're using Hong Kong as well, and we're going to have to hit it hard with sanctions ultimately. And I think Wall Street's going to have to finally get on the right side here. I mean, there's a giant opportunity for the new Trump administration to start winning against Beijing again, to get back to where they left off at the end of Trump 1, where you had this really rapid, I think, succession of policy action against Chinese companies, against the PRC and CCP writ large. And they're going to have to get a lot done on trade. They're going to have to get a lot done on capital markets. And they're going to have to start winning the economic competition in serious ways. And that will ultimately mean that business executives, and particularly Wall Street executives, have to choose sides here. We have to get to.
美中經濟與安全審查委員會 USCC 喺最近嘅2024年度報告裏面首次建議，美國國會應終止給予中共國永久正常貿易關係地位，嚟遏制中共嘅唔公平貿易行為，並通過提高關稅同埋恢復年度貿易行為審查。請睇報導。
美中經濟與安全審查委員會在最新的2024年度報告中首次建議，美國國會應終止給予中共國永久正常貿易關係地位，以遏制中共的不公平貿易行為，並通過提高關稅和恢復年度貿易行為審查。報告指出，自2001年中國加入世貿組織以來，永久正常貿易關係地位一直是美中貿易關係的基石，但中共不僅從未履行開放市場和公平競爭的承諾，還通過盜取知識產權、操縱市場和依賴國家補貼等手段破壞國際貿易體系。因此，取消中共的永久正常貿易關係地位將有效削弱這些行為對美中貿易的破壞。委員赫爾伯格表示，美國可以借鑑拜登政府在俄烏戰爭期間取消俄羅斯貿易特權的做法，以國家安全為由重新審視對中共的貿易政策。如果國會通過這一建議，中共國的貿易地位將被降至與朝鮮和古巴等國相同的水平。同時，美國可能對中共國商品徵收更高關稅，並恢復對其貿易行為的年度審查。目前，該提議得到了許多議員們的支持。他們認為，中共的經濟脅迫和不公平貿易策略已對美國構成重大威脅。取消永久正常貿易關係地位將重新定義美中貿易關係，並對中共施加更大壓力。
美國前勞工部長史提芬·康羅伊表示，中共國唔會遵守國際規則體系，佢哋會用各種方式嚟施壓，唔好俾習近平嘅外交行動所蒙蔽，並警告中共國嘅脅迫手段。請睇詳細內容。
Let's return now and get some analysis on what we're seeing out of the G20 in Brazil. Joining me live in the studio is former Labor Minister, Sky News regular on this program, Stephen Conroy. Stephen, great to see you in person.
Good to be here.
This meeting between Xi Jinping and the Prime Minister, in fact, Xi Jinping and a whole heap of world leaders, it's quite a diplomatic push right now as in the wake of the US election, Donald Trump set to really shake up the rules-based order internationally.
Yeah, well, as you saw during the campaign, Trump said, tariffs, it's the most beautiful word in the English language. And he seems to be intent on pushing ahead in, throwing away the international rules-based order. But for anyone to be sucked in by President Xi, particularly in Australia, where we have only just got the last, the lobsters were the last in a long line of goods from Australia, that they just punished Australia because we wouldn't abide by what they wanted on a whole range of other issues, starting at COVID and investigation all the way through. Let no one be fooled by this diplomatic push by Xi. China will not obey the international rules-based order, and they will use it any way they can to put pressure on people. So don't be fooled. We should welcome their sentiment, but never believe that they mean it.
資深時事評論員張家敦表示，我哋必須要做嘅事情就係終止同中共嘅永久正常貿易關係，因為中共就係嗰啲令世界陷入戰火嘅代理人戰爭背後嘅幕後黑手，而我哋仲喺度為佢提供資金。請睇詳細內容。
The U.S.-China Economic and Security Review Commission recommending the U.S. toughen its trade relationship with China in its annual report to Congress, exactly what Trump wants to do. The commission also calling for the U.S. to end its permanent normal trade relations with Beijing for the first time. Gordon, this is an important one because China gets all sorts of accommodations because they claim they are an emerging economy. I mean, give me a break. The Chinese economy is the second largest economy in the world. Are they still emerging or developing?
Yeah, clearly you're right. What we have to do is we have to end PNTR. China should never have had it in the first place, but now we can take it away.
Explain PNTR.
Permanent normal trade relations. And that gives them basically everything that we give to everybody else. So it's reciprocity on steroids. The thing is, China uses all of this trade to develop its military, which is configured to kill Americans. They use it to support their fentanyl gangs. The list goes on and on. They could not afford to assault us, would not be for our money. And by the way, you know, Russia couldn't continue the war in Ukraine without China's support. Iran could not have assaulted Israel without China's support. This is China behind all of these proxy wars, setting the world on fire, and we're financing it.
喺中共國有住臭名昭著嘅審查制度，例如佢嘅防火牆，而呢一切都係為咗控制。但呢個亦反映出中共係幾咁恐懼同脆弱。請睇報道。
China is notorious for what you can't find there. Let's say, for example, you want to do a Google search, or look up a Winnie the Pooh meme, or kick back with the movie 7 Years in Tibet. Chances are that you can't do any of those because all of them have either been banned or censored in China. Good luck watching China Uncensored. The same goes for certain numbers that appear together, like 6 and 4, no matter how they appear together. And even the letter N was censored for a time as well. So I assume China was more into PlayStation than N64. Overall, China is completely in a league of its own when it comes to large-scale censorship. On a regular basis, the Chinese authorities heavily scrutinize books, movies, and news stories before they're released to the Chinese public. That is, if they're released at all. At the same time, they've basically detached the internet in China from the global internet in a setup known as the Great Firewall. It's kind of like their other Great Wall, only instead of keeping out dangerous invaders, this one keeps out dangerous ideas like freedom. The firewall blocks Chinese users from accessing non-Chinese platforms, thereby restricting them to online spaces where the Chinese state has oversight and sway. This system is so comprehensive that it was described earlier this year by Freedom House as the world's most sophisticated internet censorship apparatus. Freedom House? Congrats, you just got censored too. The Great Firewall enables the authorities to, for example, automatically censor thousands of words and phrases related to Chinese leader Xi Jinping, and made it possible for them to add 500 extra to the list in the span of just 2 months in 2020. And good thing they did that because can you imagine the destruction it would inflict in the very heart of the Chinese nation if names for Xi like the driving in reverse emperor and the Tsinghua graduate were allowed to stand, the damage would be unfathomable.
當前正在就中共黑客事件舉行聽證會嘅民主黨參議員理查德·布魯門薩爾近日指出，鑑於國會已經喺今年4月份通過咗保護美國人免受外國對手控制嘅應用法案，佢要求喺2025年1月19號之前 TikTok 要從字節跳動公司剝離，除非拜登批准一次性延期，最多90日。請睇報導。
当前正在就中共骇客事件举行听证会的民主党参议员理查德·布鲁门萨尔近日指出，鉴于国会已在今年4月份通过了保护美国人免受外国对手控制的应用法案，他要求在2025年1月19号之前 TikTok 从字节跳动公司剥离，除非拜登批准一次性延期最多90天。支持这项法律的人指出，该法将防止中共监视美国民众或影响 TikTok 用户看到的内容。TikTok 一直处在美中地缘政治不断升级的紧张局势中。今年4月，各界对其暗中威胁美国国家安全的疑虑达到顶峰。为此，拜登总统当时签署了可能导致 TikTok 被禁的法律。TikTok 执行长周受资再三表示， 该公司将不会退出市场，并因此在今年5月提起诉讼，起诉联邦政府的相关法案侵犯了 TikTok 用户的言论自由權。
馬克特齊羅博士指出，輝瑞公司嘅欺詐行為有好多層面，其中一個就係佢改變咗mRNA 疫苗嘅生產方法，呢個同佢哋之前達成嘅協議並唔一致。請睇詳細內容。
If I could just clarify for everyone and just make sure I'm understanding this correctly, and some of you folks may or may not recall, but these were supposed to be RNA shots.
Yes.
And Pfizer and Moderna, they submitted to the government samples that they manufactured by a cleaner technique where what it was mRNA shots. Health Canada, FDA, European Agency, etc., Australia, same thing. They tested the original samples and said, yeah, what's in there is what's on the ingredients, which again was a crazy idea, but then they said, well, we can manufacture this much cheaper by using a second method, which involved these plasmid DNAs. Now, these plasmid DNA, none of this was supposed to be in the shot, even with the second recipe. They were supposed to scrub it all out. But like Dr. Speakers described and is going to go into, turns out there's a lot of DNA there. But this fraud that you've just put before us is that they did submit their recipe to the agencies, including Health Canada, for the second method. Health Canada never tested it.
No.
So Health Canada even did their due diligence to say, hey, is what's in here? Is it really what's supposed to be? Is there? But they submitted this plasmid map of the DNA plasmid they would use in the manufacturing that would be scrubbed out before the injection was prepared for anyone. But on their map, they committed fraud and they deleted certain genetic sequences so that it would appear they could not be there in any way, even if there was contamination. And some of them are these extremely notorious SV40-derived genetic tools. So is that making, clear of it, Dr. Speaker?
Absolutely.
We are the people, 老百姓 We gonna bury you, CCP。
跟住落嚟係一種每日新聞簡報。被川普任命為國家情報總監嘅圖爾西加巴德呼籲關閉美國喺世界各地建立嘅大約300多個生物實驗室，包括停止與武漢實驗室類似嘅功能性增強研究。佢表示，武漢實驗室可能就係 COVID-19 病毒嘅發源地。
20號，蔡英文前往加拿大參加哈利法斯安全論壇。蔡英文表示，將向國際社會傳遞台灣守護民主嘅努力同決心。專家就認為，蔡英文出訪有助於擴大台灣嘅國際能見度。
德州州長格雷格阿博特諮詢德州投資機構，要求停止使用州政府資金對中共國進行新增投資，並立即評估同處理現有中共國投資。
中共特設委員會主席布勒納爾發表聲明，就香港47名民主活動人士被判最高10年監禁及黎智英假審判恢復一事，表示強烈譴責。佢指出，香港當局喺中共操控下實施嚴苛且不公嘅刑罰，法律體系已經被嚴重削弱，喪失獨立性。穆勒納爾呼籲美國國務院制裁香港相關官員、警察同法官，追究其不公審判嘅責任。
美國聯邦通訊委員會指出，中共國製造商 EKEN 生產嘅視頻門鈴將用戶嘅 IP 地址、WiFi 信息以及攝像頭數據暴露俾第三方，存在嚴重安全風險。該製造商因涉嫌提供虛假信息並危害用戶安全，面臨73.5萬美元嘅罰款。
台灣總統賴清德即將進行佢上任後首次出訪，預計11月30號至12月6號訪問3個台灣喺太平洋嘅友邦圖瓦盧、馬紹爾群島同帕魯。
由於國內經濟困難，中共國正在大幅縮減海外投資。5月，柬埔寨官員表示，中國路橋集團將完全承擔17億美元嘅富南科泰運河項目，但截至目前，中共國仍冇對項目資金做出明確嘅承諾。據悉，中共國曾私下批評柬埔寨，擅自宣布中共國將提供資金。
歐洲疾控中心主任 Palima Randy Wagner 表示，該中心正考慮退出社交媒體平台 X， 因為社交媒體係錯誤同虛假資訊嘅滋生地。喺新冠疫情期間，公眾對機構嘅信任已經喪失。
我哋重申，中國共產黨係全世界災難嘅根源。只有消滅中國共產黨，先至能夠拯救全人類。感謝大家收睇每日滅共新聞，我哋下次再會。
我哋下次再會。
We are the people， 老百姓。We gonna bury you， CCP。We are the people， 老百姓。We gonna bury you， CCP。We taking no more CCP. Get up out of our country, set the Chinese free, and that is no more CCP. Remove the word Chinese, cause you don't represent me, no. Gotta take them down, gotta take them down, gotta take them down, down, down. Gotta take them down, gotta take them down, gotta take them down, down, down.
They shot my father, kidnapped my mother. That was a decade ago. Hit fast forward, still haven't heard nothing about her. Damn, vanished and gone with the wind. Damn, God only know where she been. Probably got chained to a wall, tortured and raped like that girl in Shujar. Government trafficking orphans, government trafficking organs, government forcing abortions. Put a rebellion in motion. NFSC, gold, integrity and peace. A symbol of life, dreams and eternity.
We taking no more CCP. Get up out of our country, set the Chinese free, and that is no more CCP. Remove the word Chinese, cause you don't represent me, no. Gotta take them down, gotta take them down, gotta take them down, down, down. Gotta take them down, gotta take them down, gotta take them down, down, down.
Yeah, I think it might be time now to take down the CCP. Better yet the CCP, cause ain't no sense in being friends with them. Come on, man, look at how these crooked politicians all bend to them. All of them in bed with them. BGY plan 13579, buying up a farmland. Axis of evil, they joined Iran, North Korea, Russia, the ends at hand. We don't get out and take a stand with the NFSC. RP to Lee K-Chang and all the disappeared leaders of the rocket force and all the underground Christians above, of course, the Uyghurs. Like I said, it's time now to beat this evil. Hear the shouts and the cheers when we liberate the Chinese people. And never forget, the CCP is not our equal.
No more CCP. Get up out of our country, set the Chinese free, and that is no more CCP. Remove the